Well, I mean, I support the idea. I think it's more like the way some people were raised, eating meat, and
Yeah.
it's kind of hard for some people to accept that, like, go change the
Yeah.
whole process. So,
Right.
possible.
So you support it. When you say you support it, you mean like ethically you support it, like you agree with the actual arguments. When it comes to the actual like ethical position, like what do you guys think?
I think it looks pretty ethic with what we have seen, especially if you compare animals to humans. I think it's pretty ethical. Me, on my side, I refuse to watch the videos because I know if I watch them, I might feel regret towards not actually accepting veganism yet. But sometimes I think I'm not up to the point of giving up the food that I've been eating for years. So sometimes that plays a role really big when I think about, should I go vegan or not?
Yeah, like I mean, I totally get it. I mean, like I was non-vegan for like, 18 years, and like when 99% of the people around you like do it, and when I say do it, I mean not be vegan. It's very easy to just kind of like turn off. So, yeah. So you said the reason you don't watch the footage is because it makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah, I know.
And it makes you, right. And does it also make you uncomfortable to know like when you go and pay for those products, like you're putting those things like in demand?
Like I said, I daily live with someone who's vegan. My girlfriend's vegan, so it does make me uncomfortable feeling the fact that she's doing something right and I'm not doing that thing right, even though she teaches me about it. But like I said, the main problem for me, it's the fact of giving up something that I've been doing for so many years, and that it's what I've been taught to do throughout all my life. So it comes to the point of if you go out with like family, friends, people, it's really hard too, because if you're at home, then you can buy alternatives, or you can cook beans and stuff, greens, you can eat that. But then when you go out with people, surrounded by people, what are you gonna eat? Like if you go to a restaurant and there's no alternatives or no vegan plates, what do you do? So that plays a role to it, I think.
Yeah, so there's a conception out there that like it's hard to be vegan at any restaurant, but over time you actually will learn that, like how Burger King has that saying like have it your way, right? That actually applies basically like everywhere. Like people don't really realize it, but it's true. And most restaurants will accommodate, and I understand that like if you go to like a steakhouse with family and stuff, and like you have to literally get potatoes and broccoli, it's like at that point it's just like what the how am I going to eat this? But at the same time, like the inconvenience of that, like when you compare that to like what you're seeing in those videos, right? What is more inconvenient? You having to eat like potatoes and broccoli one night with your family, or a chicken and a pig, having their throat slit or being gassed, right? And I'm just being very straightforward with you guys, because it's like it's very easy to focus on the cons of being vegan in your own personal life, but when you look at the actual victims and who's being affected by your commodity purchases, it's much easier to kind of understand and deal with those hardships.
Yeah, I get it 100%.
So I come from like a science background, so it's like my major. So health sciences, biology, anatomy, nutrition. So like being a part of that science field, like you adapt to change. So you kind of like put your self pleasures away, and you think further than yourself. So I mean, for me, like it's a sacrifice to like cut something out of my meal, like let's say a steakhouse again, like order something, obviously it's not a steak or whatever, like it's inconvenient, but I mean it's just a self-pleasure at the moment, and you feel like, dang, like I really want that, but like if you're just thinking over time, like, well, I'm doing a change, like if if I'm a person thinking like this at that moment, like I'm not going to do it, because if 100 other people are doing it, then that's like one whole cow, basically, Right. It's like it all adds up, so it's just like a greater mindset.
So you understand, like, although your impact is minuscule, it's still like something, right? Right. Exactly. Cool. So it seems like you guys are pretty reasonable, pretty logical. So what exactly is, if you had to say like in a couple sentences each, like what is stopping you from doing it? And if also, I'm going to say here, if what's stopping you is the idea of changing your entire lifestyle, if that's the answer, I totally get that. And some vegans, including me, will say the most ethical thing you could do is change overnight, but it's not always the most practical thing. because some people will go overnight and they won't understand, they won't do research. Like you said, you like nutrition, right? I'm really big on nutritional science, and but a lot of people will go vegan overnight and they won't take a B12 supplement, they won't take a D3 supplement, and they'll feel terrible and then blame it on the vegan diet per se, and then no longer be vegan. So there's practical use to doing it slowly, right? So is that one of the reasons, like the fact that you don't feel like doing it overnight?
Oh yeah, 100%. The fact that I just believe that I cannot stop eating what I've been eating, like I said before. Just from today and then tomorrow I stop eating whatever I was eating today. Like, that's just really hard sometimes. It does happen, or I do believe that if you stop eating at least one product related to animals daily, or let's say every week and stuff, then you can actually make an impact just by yourself. But sometimes people that are not vegan believe that as an individual you make no change on changing just yourself, but others around. So I believe that's you highlighted it really well, that if you change yourself, then that means at least one person out of 100, it's, you know, to change.
Yeah, totally.
I feel like my biggest issue isn't like cutting out meat and me missing the flavor and stuff like that. Like, you know, it's always been fun, like my entire life, like Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas dinner, you know, like all the great dishes and everything. And sure, like I'll like miss that or whatever. But I think my biggest thing is like the money issue. Like, eating healthy is really good and everything, but like let's say you do miss having like a meat dish or something like that, so you supplement it for like another type of choice, like Beyond or whatever. Like those prices raise up a lot for like pockets, or like going to like a vegan restaurant, like there's one called Humble or whatever. So like those prices just raise up. So my biggest issue isn't like cutting it out, it's just like it's inconvenience with the money problem as well, like that.
So you're not under the impression though that a vegan diet is inherently expensive, right? Like, because I acknowledge, you know, there's certain meat products, like fake meat products, that are expensive, and then there's also the gourmet restaurants, and also just some restaurants too are pretty expensive. But you're aware of like things like rice and beans and pasta, lentils, oats, because I understand what you're saying, and like certainly it can be expensive, but again, it comes back to like what matters more, like that convenience, or what you're seeing in those videos.
Well, pretty much Daniela has been helping me out with it. I'm trying to, you know, before when she started doing it, I was like on denial, like, oh, I don't want to do that. But then I start, you know, trying food, and it's pretty cool. I like it.
When you just have straight up meat, like, you know, we obviously season these things with like plants and with sodium and all these things. So that's why when you guys have had things like, you know, Beyond Meat or whatever, which I'm assuming you guys enjoyed the taste of those things. Right. So like, yeah, so the taste wise thing, it's more of like a process of learning what is out there. Cause I mean, I'm like I used to be like, when I was 8 years old and stuff, I was like pretty fat, and like I was a big food person. I still am. And I love food. Like I probably have I have like a transcendental experience when I eat food, because I just love it so much. Right. But if I always say that if I was able to sacrifice the taste, which I don't even call it a sacrifice, it's more of like a potential sacrifice, or a short sacrifice, because eventually I just find out how to get the same exact taste through plants, just over time, right? Because I think there's 20,000 or 80,000 edible plants, but either way, that's a lot of plants, right? So there's bound to be something.
If we humans had to kill the animals in order to actually eat them, then we would change our ways, because in my case, I believe that if I had to kill a chicken to eat it, I would not be able to do it. But since I don't see the process myself, then sometimes I just forget about it, and I just think like, oh, that's what I'm eating, that's it. So yeah, that's a big point.
Yeah, most people wouldn't kill. I personally could never kill an animal. Obviously I'm a vegan, obviously I'm saying that, but there's certain people too that are hunters that would definitely do it. I'm actually debating somebody this Wednesday online he literally kills his own sheep, and it's just like, I can't make that argument with him, because he's literally just like, yeah, I'll stab sheep or whatever, who cares. But yeah, most people that walk by with their dogs and stuff, it's like they would never end up killing a chicken or whatever. And there's a reason, right, that you don't want to see it, because it's terrible, right? But I would argue though that even if someone's able to do this, that doesn't necessarily justify them doing it. It just shows that they're able to do it, and because you're able to do something doesn't mean that, you know, it's moral, right?